COVID-19 has been a disruption in every facet of our lives. Data scientists around the world are trying to make sense of the situation and trying to predict its impact on the future. Government organizations and companies across the world are relying on this data driven decision making to strategize their response to the pandemic. You would have come across certain data visualizations and certain studies that talk about how to deal with the pandemic. However, as the number of people involved in data analysis increases, so do the differing outcomes. For example, what is my probability of dying if I get COVID 19? Or what is the best metric to assess the severity of a pandemic? Or how effective was the lockdown in my country? If we are taking actions based on this data, how sure are we about the reliability of this data? At this juncture, it would be really helpful to understand the ways of spotting an unreliable statistics.
First principle, can you see the uncertainty? We will understand this with two types of statistics. The first one, we all know statistics with a two-sided symmetric uncertainty, wherein your population mean is equal to sample mean plus margin of error. And this statistics, we approximately match the population pyramid, and it's only a very small two-sided error in this estimate. Let's understand this with taking an example. Suppose there's an election which is not like a disease outbreak, and you want to know what proportions of voters support a certain presidential candidate in an election. And we conducted a survey with a sample of 500, and we arrive at the results based 4% margin of error. Now, suppose I want to know what is the popularity of Mr. Yang. And with this data, I can easily say that he is around 4% to 12% popular, moderately popular, but not the prime candidate. And this results is sufficient enough for me to know as a public, right, to make some decision. But now consider the second statistics with one-sided uncertainty and potentially extreme. With this, let's take the example of an outbreak of COVID-19. We'll start off with the early days of COVID when it was started in Wuhan, and till January 25, approximately 1,300 cases of infection were confirmed. Now, if we trust this figure and conclude that 1287 people have been infected, this would be wildly wrong. Not because of any wrong reporting or official thing, but because of asymmetry in the detection process of infection. And the word confirmed here is really important. The probability of someone being labeled confirmed without actually having the COVID is nearly zero. So therefore, this 1287 is the minimum number of infected people on 25th Jan. These are not the actual number of infected people. An official figure isn't even trying to estimate the true number. It's just the people who were confusing the confirmed numbers with the actual cases. So what we need to do here is we need to look at two more parameters. Those were reported in the news, but people were not talking about it. First one, people labeled confirmed, but not labeled confirmed, but most likely will have the coronavirus. And those were suspected cases around 2000 till 24th Jan. And then we had around 15,000 cases which were close contact with the infected patients, and some of them were under quarantine. Now, if we have to do some calibration and if we try to arrive at an actual number, probably we will do some small mathematical calculation. 1287 is my minimum number, and assuming 90% of the suspected cases will turn positive, and 20%, which is on a lower side of the quarantine people, will also turn positive. So the number of actual cases calibrated will come to around 6,000, which is 5 times more than 1,300, which we anticipated earlier. And this is based on the initial days. As when the absolute numbers grows on, so you can see the difference between the actual cases and confirmed cases, which is the uncertainty. And if we have to have a robust system to tackle the COVID-19, we need to look at the actual numbers, not the confirmed cases. If we look at the graphical representation for this, the first graph is simple. It's a regular asymmetric symmetric error estimation, and we know the margin of error is fixed. But for the COVID, it's an asymmetric error. If you look at the second graph, the error here is asymmetric and it can be extremely large. And as the authorities, they get more information, they resolve more uncertainty, this number grows and only grows and in a single direction. So in this case, our normal statistic cannot be treated like a true population parameter. So what we need to do here is to arrive at a safe level by doing the calibration. So the reported cases in this graph, which is the confirmed cases, as I showed in the previous slide, were 1280, 1287. And when we arrived at the safe level, it was around 6,000. The true cases might be less than the safe level. And this was the thing that most countries failed to do or report, that creating a margin of safety, and people were not talking about these numbers, they were only talking about the confirmed numbers. And it's not true for any one country. All the countries, even in Singapore, the number of cases till now which we are receiving are the confirmed cases. So the 46,000 which we are seeing today as confirmed, they might be the actual cases a month back. So we need to know about the safe number, not the reported numbers.